Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Bye. I shall see you in good day.
Go on.
I shall see you in good day.
Austin is telling you all that he saw his Mimi and Granddaddy this weekend. They surprised us and came down for a visit on Saturday that we were not expecting. So they were pretty excited about that. So that is what he kept telling you all when he said bye, was that his Mimi and Granddaddy came down. So today's devotional is going to be a little bit different. And this is one of the many books that I have. But Matt bought me this, I don't know when, but it's called Walking with Christ Every Day. And it's a 365 daily devotions for women. And I was looking through it this week, trying to figure out if I could make a Devo out of it. And I don't know. I don't know what possessed this or what came on me, but heaven's been on my mind a lot. And honestly, if I want to be honest with myself, it's because Father's Day weekend was, last weekend? And it's my first Father's Day without my dad. So that's been on my mind a lot. And the songs we sing at church, and I think of the funeral songs. And most of Dad's songs at his funeral were about heaven. So that's what I'm going to say is where this devotional came from. They got my mind thinking about it. And I found this devotional. So I want to read it to you, and then I'm going to expand on it with my own thoughts. And this one is called Heaven is Home. And it says, let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God. Believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also. And that was from the New King James Version, John 14, verses 1 through 3. And that's where this devotional is based on. And it says, sometimes the trouble of this old world are easier to tolerate when we remind ourselves that heaven is our true home. An old hymn contains the words, this world is not my home, I'm just a passing through. Thank goodness. This crazy world can be a place of trouble and danger. Thankfully, God has offered you a permanent home in heaven, a place of unimaginable glory, a place that your heavenly Father has already prepared for you. In John 16, verses 33, Jesus tells us that he has overcome the troubles of this world. We should trust him and we should obey his commandments. When we do, we can withstand any problem, knowing that our troubles are temporary, but that heaven is not. The home we've always wanted, the home you continue to long for with all your heart, is the home God is preparing for you. And that got me thinking. Everybody talks about heaven. I've heard about heaven ever since I can remember. We go to Bible class, what do we talk about? We talk about heaven. We go to church, what's the preacher say? We go to heaven, we go to heaven, we go to heaven, got to be baptized, got to be a Christian, we want to go to heaven, we want to go to heaven, we don't want to go to the bad place. I teach 4th and 5th grade right now, and that's what we talk about every week. What do we do? We want to go to heaven. How do we get there? You're baptized. Well, what happens after you're baptized? We've been talking about it for 13 weeks. Why? Every quarter I teach, somehow, heaven is always in it. We always talk about heaven. So heaven is not a new subject. So this got me thinking, and have you ever really sat down and thought about heaven? I mean, really sat down and thought about it. And honestly, I haven't unless it's been preached about, or I can remember some conversations around our kitchen table about something that was said at church, or something we've read in a book. But have we ever thought about, what does heaven look like? Who is going to be there? What's going to happen there? And that's what I'm going to kind of look at. And we're not going to go deep, because I'll be honest with you, I can't go deep with this. I haven't studied it like I should. So we're just going to kind of skim the top, if you will, of these things. And we're going to start with, what is heaven going to be like? What's it going to look like? And we see, and all this is going to come from Revelation. And we're going to be in chapter 21 through chapter 22. And I will tell you the verses. We're not going to read every verse. But this is an account from John about what heaven is going to look like and what we can expect to see when we get there. If we get there. If we live the way we should. So we're going to start in Revelation 21, verse 3. And it says, And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, Behold, the dwelling place of God is with man. He will dwell with them, and they will be his people. And God himself will be with them as their God. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain any more, for the former things have passed away. This verse tells me, once I get to heaven, there's not going to be any more death. There's not going to be any more pain. There's not going to be any more crying. And God's going to be there. God's going to be there with me. So that's one thing we know. That's one thing heaven's going to be like. There's not going to be any more sadness. If you lump all those together, death brings sadness, pain brings sadness, crying brings sadness. No sadness. We're going to jump down to verses 9. So we're still in chapter 21, verse 9 through 14. Come, I will show you the bride, the wife of the Lamb. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great high mountain and showed me the holy city Jerusalem coming down out of heaven from God, having the glory of God, its radiance like a most rare jewel, like a jasper, clear as crystal. It had a great high wall with 12 gates, and the gates 12 angels, and on the gates the names of the angels. And on the gates the names of the 12 tribes of the sons of Israel were inscribed. On the east 3 gates, on the north 3 gates, on the south 3 gates, and on the west 3 gates. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and on them were the 12 names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. So what do the verses tell us? It tells us we're going to have a great high wall there. Probably a wall higher than we've ever seen. We're going to have a high wall with 12 gates. And what's going to be at the gate? 12 angels. Or there's going to be an angel at each gate. So we know there's at least going to be 12 angels in heaven at these gates. 3 on the north, 3 on the south, 3 on the east, and 3 on the west. We're going to have 12 angels. Verse 16. The city lies 4 square. Its length the same as its width. So we know what shape the city is going to be. The length is going to be just as long as it is wide. Verses 18. The wall was built of jasper, while the city was pure gold like clear glass. The foundations of the wall of the city were adorned with every kind of jewel. The first was jasper, the second sapphire, the third agate, the fourth emerald, the fifth onyx, the sixth carnelian, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth topaz, the 10th chrysoprase, the 11th jacinth, and the 12th amethyst. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls, each of the gates made of a single pearl. And the street of the city was pure gold like transparent glass. Verses 21. What is our street going to be like? Transparent glass. Street of gold. So we know there is going to be the street in the city, the street of heaven, is going to be gold. Verse 23. There's going to be no sun or moon. It says, and the city has no need of sun or moon to shine on it, for the glory of God gives its light, and its lamp is the Lamb. So it's going to be light all the time. No need for night. No need. Is never going to be dark. We're always going to have light. Verses 25, and the gates will never be shut by day, and there will be no night there. So are our gates ever going to shut? No. The gates will never be shut by day, but yet there's no night. So will the gates ever be shut? No. All right, chapter 23, verse 1. Then the angel showed me the river of the water of life, bright as crystal, flowing from the throne of God and the Lamb through the middle of the street of the city. Also on either side of the river, the tree of life with its 12 kinds of fruit, yielding its fruit each month. The leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. Okay, so we know we've got streets of gold. We know we've got gates. We know we've got angels. We know there's not going to be sadness there. We know God's going to be there. There's not going to be any night, which tells me we're not going to get tired, which you think of your physical body, and we know we're not going to have a physical body up there. It's going to be our souls. We're going to have a different type of body, but we're not going to get tired. We're not going to know what night is because there's not going to be night there. Then we know there's going to be the river of water of life. And in the middle of the street of the city, remember the street of the city was gold. In the middle of this street, there's a river. And on either side of the river, there's a tree of life with 12 kinds of fruit. And when I was reading this, you know, we have 12 months in a year. And this says yielding its fruit each month. 12 different kinds. So each month, you're going to get a different kind of fruit that grows on this tree. And when I was thinking this, you know, I got to think, okay, Paula, it's not human terms. I don't eat fruit. I'm a very picky eater. I do not like fruit. So if this was a human world, I would struggle, wouldn't I? I would struggle. But I don't have to worry about that. God's going to take care of me. Maybe I'll like fruit when I'm in heaven. I don't know. Hopefully, I guess so. We're going to have fruit. We're going to have 12 different kinds of fruit. The leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. So we know we're going to have food. We're going to have food. We have this fruit tree. We're going to have water. Remember, the river of life. The water of life. We have that. It is hard to even imagine how great heaven is going to be. We have never and will never see anything else like it. But doesn't it make you want to go there? Don't you want to see this great high wall? Don't you want to see these 12 gates, these 12 angels on the gates? I think of guardian, like they're guarding the gates. But it's never going to shut you off to worry about any more harm, any more robberies, any more theft. You're at peace. And you don't have to worry about food. You're going to have fruit. You're going to have water. Just as everything is clear as crystal, transparent as glass. I mean, I cannot imagine. Can't imagine. But as Christians, as everyday people, are we striving each day to get to this beautiful place called heaven, or are we just taking it for granted? Oh, well, I was baptized, so I'm going to get there. I don't have to worry about it. I've got a sure foot into heaven. Yeah, it's in the Bible. It says it's there. God's not going to be mean to me. God's not going to punish me. I'm going to get there. I never thought about heaven because, I know I'm going. I really don't have to do anything to it. I'm going to go. Do we have that mindset? Or do we really think of what it takes to get there? Do we really strive to get to this beautiful place? And I can just imagine if heaven is this beautiful, what is hell going to be like? If our God can make heaven this beautiful, this appealing, where people want to go, do you think he's going to make hell that appealing? No. We have pictures of that as well, and it's nowhere near as nice as this. Why won't we strive to go to heaven? Also, we're going to end with what will heaven be like? Number 1, it is a place of rest. Revelation 14:13. And I heard a voice from heaven saying, write this, blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on. Blessed indeed, says the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, for their deeds follow them. A place of rest. I've seen several. There's a picture going around on Facebook, and I kind of chuckled because this week's been really rough. 2 of the 4 have been sick, and it's been a really busy week, and a lot has fallen on Matt. And he has done a great job of picking up all the slack. And I read this picture on Facebook, and it's something like, as an adult, you keep saying, after this week, things will slow down. Just hold on to next week. After next week, things will slow down. And we keep saying that each week. And I kind of chuckled because I thought this past week was our busy week. And I got to looking at our calendar, and each week, it's like, more and more and more is going on, and I kind of laughed because how much are we like that of I'll get to it later. Next week I'll have time to read my Bible. Next week I can pray more. I don't have a lot going on. Next week work's not so crazy, so I can concentrate on my spiritual life. When we get to heaven, it's a place of rest. We don't have to say, oh, next week I'll be able to rest. Let me get through the chaos of this week and next week. No, heaven is a place of rest. Secondly, it's not temporary, but it's permanent. 2 Corinthians 5:1-2. For we know that if the tent that is our earthly home is destroyed, we have a building from God, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. For in this tent we groan, longing to put on our heavenly dwelling. It's permanent. So when we long for heaven, when we put this picture in our mind of a city, Foursquare, it's as long as it is, or its length, or it's as wide as it is long, and we picture these gates, and we picture this tree, and we picture this water, and we picture God being there with us, and we picture being happy. It's not temporary. It's permanent, and we've got to realize the world we're in now is temporary, and sometimes I think we get those confused. We think we want to be in the world we're in now. We want it to be permanent, and we shouldn't be that way. Next is heaven for everyone. Now think about that. Is heaven for everyone? We're going to say yes. But Do you have to do something to get there? Absolutely. You can't just live a worldly life. You can't not be a Christian. You can't not follow the Bible. You can't follow the commandments and expect to get to heaven. Only the ones who believe in Jesus and are baptized and follow his commandments all the days of their life. Not just one. Not just on a good week. Not just when they have time when their life isn't chaos. All the days of their life, they're striving to get to heaven. Are they going to make mistakes? Absolutely. Are they going to sin? Absolutely. But they've taken the steps. They believe in Jesus. They're baptized. They became a Christian. And they're following his commandments to the best of their ability all the days of their life. They'll get to heaven. John 14, 1 through 3. Let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me. In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and take you to myself, that where I am you may be also. It is a prepared place for a prepared people. It is an inheritance for Christians, a place made only for the family of God. 1 Peter 1, 3 through 4 says, Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. According to his great mercy, he has caused us to be born again to a living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, to an inheritance that is imperishable, undefiled, and unfading, kept in heaven for you. It is a place unlike anything we have ever seen or experienced on this earth. It is a place that we should desire and live our lives in a way to one day attain it. Are we doing that? Are we doing that? First step, are we a Christian? Have we read the Bible? Do we believe what the Bible says? Do we believe in God? Have we been baptized? Have we taken that step? If we have been baptized, are we trying to be the better Christian every day? Not just on the weeks that aren't crazy, on the weeks that are slow, on the weeks that we're sick. I've probably had a week that people would die for. I have been in this house all week. Been sick. I've had a child who's sick, but I have been home. I have been home. Yes, I've had other commitments elsewhere that I've had to cancel, I've had to put off, or it's been dumped on Matt that Matt's had to do. But I've had time. I've had time. It felt like doing anything, but I've had time. I've had time to think. I've had time to read my Bible. I've had time to do devotionals. I've had time to write. It's not the craziness of life. Do I wait for those weeks that we are all sick, that I have time to do it? I shouldn't. I should try to find time every day to read my Bible and to be a better Christian. How am I going to be better at something if I'm not practicing it every day? Elizabeth's softball just ended, and we told her, practice every day and you will get better. Practice every day and you will get better. And we saw her throughout the season. She got better. Why? She practiced. Isn't it the same way with our Bible? With being a Christian? If we practice doing good things for others, if we practice reading our Bible, if we practice our prayer life, it's going to get better. It's not going to get worse. It's going to get better. We're going to learn more. It can only help us. So that was just on my mind this week, is heaven. And like I said, I'm not really sure why, but it was, and I kind of want to do a short devotional on that, and hopefully those things we talked about make us long for that. Make us long for no more sadness. It makes me long for no more sickness, because this week has been rough. It makes me long to look at the pretty scenery. It just sounds just unbelievable what heaven's going to be like, and he did it for us. He did it for you. Whoever is watching this, he did it for you. He didn't hand select everybody. He did it for you. So are we doing what it takes to take advantage of that, to get to heaven, to do what we need to do so we can enjoy what God has done for us? I hope you all have a great week. As always, just keep on working and being a better Christian like I know all of you all are doing. And hopefully I will feel better next week. And I'm not really sure what we're going to talk about, but I hope everybody has a great 4th. I know next Sunday is the 4th of July. I am still planning on doing a devotional. It might be something geared towards the 4th of July. I'm not sure. But we will see. We will go from there. I have this week to think about it. So thank you as always for listening, and I will see you all here next week. Have a great week.